So first I want to say I didn't mean any offense. And I'll just clarify, many of my elected leaders are simply corrupt. Not all of them, thankfully. Yeah, I also want to say that I agree, it's not about being young or about being old. It's, we have to practice humanism, I think, and it's about helping those who are in need. And those people who are in need take many forms, right? Different ages and all that. I think Karl Marx once said, we contribute according to our abilities and we take according to our needs. And I think that's a good guideline for a successful community. I will read this in response to the question, how can we imagine our values playing out and how can we support each other? In my most cynical moments, I believe we are further still now than then from anything resembling a determined and unified, class-conscious proletariat, collectively oriented and on the move for systemic change. But that is what we must become. We must find common ground and a shared goal. We must orient ourselves towards collective good. We must make sacrifices and lifestyle changes. We must support each other with education and fearless dialogue. We do need to go back to the land, quite literally and metaphorically. We must not only literally regenerate our soil, our water, and our air, we must change the way we prioritize our care. Change it in a way that honors, respects, and protects our land and our people, the basis of our prosperity. Change our relationship with private property. Change our relationship with our environment towards symbiosis again. Foster self-sufficiency in the sense of actually learning how to truly care for and provide for oneself and one's community so that we are not so dependent as consumers. Gone are the days of politics being an inappropriate or a taboo topic. Now more than ever, there is value in taking sides. We cannot preserve and maintain the status quo because the status quo is unsustainable. Better things are possible. We must demand them. We must consume less. We must hold each other and, most importantly, those with power accountable, whether by incentives or deterrence or both. We must discover a better way to organize 7+ billion people, sustainably and ethically. We must fundamentally change the predatory and hyper-individualistic tendencies of business and industrial interests, instead towards community and social enrichment as their new motivation. What I want is not necessarily what a, for instance, private health insurance or fossil fuel industry executive or a passively complicit shareholder might want. But I contend that one side of this conflict's needs is more worthy of consideration than the other. Let's stop asking so nicely for those motivated by avarice to please consider alternatives. And let's take our future back. As Senator Nina Turner says, only all that we love is on the line. I believe that we are in fact more similar as people than we are different. I believe that our superficial differences and that which separates us from each other can be transcended by raising class consciousness in an intentional, honest, and explicit way. The only demographics I see these days are the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. In other words, most Americans are part of the poor working class, and that class unity, if we can raise class consciousness enough, can easily transcend our other differences and create solidarity. As Bernie Sanders says, not me, us. With this type of solidarity, we can create a movement that cannot be suppressed by those unwilling to abdicate their power and ill-gotten wealth. Let's draw on the successes and failures of the past and realize that indeed past is prologue. What we do now determines our collective future. Let's make sure to write ourselves a bright one. As we reflect on these great stories from our past, collected by our wonderful KZYX community radio, let's keep in mind the words of Isaac Newton. If I have seen further than others, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. I want to thank those involved in the Back to the Land movement for their courage and creativity. And I also want to thank Kate and Laura and Kiri and Cal and all of those involved in the production of this wonderful program. I intend to go back to the website and listen to all the interviews that I've missed, and I encourage you all to do the same.
Yeah. Woo!